There's a lot of changes coming to Disney World in 2024 that might impact your next Disney trip, starting with all-day park hopping. Oh yeah, it's back. But also, since it's the new year, I'm going to give Disney World some resolutions based on things that it should do. Starting here in Frontierland, this is where most of the change is going to be happening at Magic Kingdom this year. The Country Bear Jamboree, as we know it, will be closing on January 27th for a new offering opening this summer. A resolution for the new show is that they keep all the guys turn me on, turn me down. Honestly, though, that's more of a dream because we've already gotten a lot of information about this new reimagined Country Bear show.
The Bears will reinterpret their favorite Disney songs in different genres of country music. Look for those bare necessities, the simple bare necessities.
So we know that's kind of what's going to be coming this summer. However, my next resolution I feel more confident is going to happen. And that's that we get animatronics in Tiana's Bayou Adventure. The previous attraction had a lot of animatronics, so I'd love to see this one reuse some of those or get a bunch of their own new ones. Disney has said that we're going to be getting familiar characters as well as new characters, and I quote, dozens of new audio animatronics. So that does sound encouraging. Also, they subtly changed the date of this opening where it was previously late 2024. Now it just says 2024. So keep your ears out for that because this attraction potentially opening earlier could be a huge thing that impacts your 2024 Disney trip. Nothing official has been announced, but it is interesting how they did subtly change the date. Fingers crossed this resolution for more animatronics actually comes true. But that's not all because Disney hinted at even more changes coming to this area of the park. So we also got information about what Disney is calling blue sky plans for a project they're calling Beyond Big Thunder Mountain. Now, this was announced a couple of months ago with some concept art, and because these are blue sky plans, that means that it's still kind of in the dreaming ideation phase as far as we know, so nothing official has been announced. But they showed concept art for bringing things like Encanto, Coco, and even a Villain's Land to this part of the park. So that, if that's announced, could be a huge impact for future trips for sure. We have the D23 Expo coming up this August, so my resolution is that we hear a bit more solid ideas on what this process is going to look like and what we're actually going to be getting beyond Big Thunder Mountain. Although the information we will probably get for this part of the park, now this has not been confirmed, but we're probably gonna see some kind of retheming of Pecos Bill, maybe into a Tiana themed restaurant. Since Tiana's Palace just opened at Disneyland, it could make sense. Plus the attraction's gonna be right there. And if that's the case, then Disney is getting a resolution to bring Mickey beignets to the Magic Kingdom this year. Who's with me? And speaking of food, that's the Pirates Tavern. It was announced at Destination D that we're going to be getting a new food offering place here in Adventureland. So I'm setting their resolution to give us an opening date, or at least a resolution to tell us a bit more about what kind of food is going to be here, because Disney food is one of my favorite things. Now here in Animal Kingdom, we've got more blue sky plans. I have so many questions for this park. Is Moana getting a presence here? Is Dino Land going to finally be put out of its misery? And what's going to happen to Dinosaur if that's the case? I would just love some more concrete plans. No pun intended. The blue sky plans for this part of the park showed things like Moana coming to this area and the log flume ride and then like a spinning ride. Not entirely sure potentially like what is going to be happening here. Hey, I've had fun on Dino Land. It's kitschy, it's different. I even have one of these stuffed dinosaurs at home. His name's Billy. But Animal Kingdom's resolution is to give us some more answers about Dino Land. I'm just a Disney fan asking Disney to share some more information on what's going on in this part of the park. And it just started raining. But we have D23X, so hopefully we'll get some more information then. The rain. Now back on Discovery Island, when they turn the It's Tough to Be a Bug attraction into a Zootopia themed one, as they are hinted at doing, my resolution is that they take out that one sensation that's like that crawly sensation. I have not done this attraction in years, but I still remember that part. Ugh. But before moving on to the next park, I'm going to give some Disney World wide updates. The Park Pass reservation system has changed this year. All right, so how it works now, hang with me, is that if you have a date-based ticket, you no longer have to make a Park Pass reservation at all. So like if you're coming in for 3 days and you have a 3-day ticket, you're good to go. However, if you are an annual pass holder or a cast member, you still need to make Park Pass reservations. But sometimes you don't, because sometimes there are these things called good to go days where you won't need to make any reservations whatsoever. So it's a little confusing, but you can always check what the status is if you're an annual pass holder or cast member by checking out the Park Pass reservation calendar. If it's a good to go day, it's going to look like this. I understand that park passes are helpful from an operation perspective, but if I was going to make a resolution for Disney World, which I'm giving myself that power today, I would say make a resolution to just do away with them entirely this year. Just like how now I'm here at Epcot, which is a wonderful feeling. So all-day park hopping is back. No longer have to wait until after 2 p.m. to get to your next park, which is great news. However, do note that if you have to have a park reservation, see earlier in this video, then you will have to still tap in, as of right now at least, you will still have to tap into your first park before hopping to another one. Now that inspires my next resolution. Since they're bringing back all of these pre-2020 things like all-day park hopping, then I think they should bring back a little more freedom to our Disney day by allowing us to get Genie Plus early, at least purchase it early, so that you're not waking up at 6 a.m. on your Disney day to get those lightning lanes. Now, also making an appearance after 4 years. Wow, 4 years? Dang. But the Disney dining plan is back. Hooray! Both table service and quick service plans are back, and you can go ahead and add them to your Disney vacation today. Now, the Disney dining plan has been missing since 2020. And you know something else that's been missing since that time that you could use the Disney dining plan at? And that would be 1900 park fare at the Grand Floridian. My resolution is to reopen that shuttered restaurant. They're already reworking the lobby there, the Grand Floridian, so just kind of push the refurbishment a little to the side. Include 1900 park fare in that, reopen that great restaurant. It was such a fun character dining experience. And if I get a bonus resolution, why don't we just throw in the Grand Floridian Tea Room while we're at it? Just get them all reopened. My next resolution for Epcot is to finally open the entire entranceway. So after 5 years, this park's entrance will be complete. I know they can do it. The only thing that's really left is the Communicore Plaza where Mickey and Friends will meet, and that there will be festival offerings there when it's festival season, which is a lot of the time nowadays. But this was supposed to open back in 2023, so this is one that I really think that they can make. Just open everything in 2024 and give us back the front of Epcot. And the new area they did open is really lovely. It would just be so nice for it to finally be complete. We're also getting Test Track 3.0 version. We don't know much about the Test Track reimagining yet, so it is still up in the air whether this will impact your 2024 trip, but just want to throw out there to be aware that it is something that is potentially going to be happening on the horizon. Therefore, it's getting a resolution. Since it's going to be inspired by the old Epcot attraction, World of Motion, I want them to include some Easter eggs to that attraction in this upcoming one. I'm feeling pretty confident that this is a resolution they can make because they've done similar things like the Easter eggs for the Universe of Energy Pavilion and the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, and also little nods to Horizons, which was the location before Mission Space kind of took over. So overall, I feel like Epcot is probably going to make its resolutions for 2024, but how about our next park? Hollywood Studios' most beloved park. Oh, so many things I wish for you, starting with utilizing the untapped space better. This part of the park back here near Rock and Roller Coaster would be a great place to start, and actually right now would be a great time to start because Rock and Roller Coaster is going to be closed for a lengthy, unexpected maintenance period that's going to last until summer of 2024. So keep that in mind if you're heading here in the next couple of months. Disney says this is just a closure for maintenance, nothing to do with the retheming, but when this attraction is closed, it really makes this part of the park pretty dead. Most of these people back here you see are coming to actually check that the ride is indeed really closed. Although there is the Lightning McQueen Racing Academy back here. I've never seen Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy, and I'm sure it is very cute. However, this is one of the busiest parks and it has the least number of attractions. So I feel like we could better utilize this part of a park that is in desperate need of more to do, frankly. Although we are getting one attraction back in this park. My favorite chipmunks are back here today. Oh, that's delightful. But typically this area is not used very often, and that's because the Voyage of the Little Mermaid show has been closed since 2020. However, it is reopening fall of this year with a refreshed look. So one of Hollywood Studios' resolutions is, since we are getting a retheme of the Little Mermaid show, let's breathe some new life into this whole animation courtyard area. Right now this area is fairly lively, but it gets really desolate, especially towards the evening when the dance party show ends and the characters go in for the night around 5:30 or so. This area really just sits almost completely empty at that point. Just unused space sitting here, and again, a park that desperately needs more things to do. I say all this with love because I adore Hollywood Studios and I just want the best for it. Oh, also, Resolution to never get rid of this sign here because it's a one little piece of Disney MGM that's actually still around. You can't find much of that anymore in this park, but there is one other place where you can. And that would be here on this side of the park near Echo Lake, where both Indiana Jones Sun Spectacular and the Backlot Express reside, both of which have been here almost the entire time Hollywood Studios has been around and still give a little bit of that old Disney MGM vibes. It still retains a little bit of that feeling of when Disney's Hollywood Studios was called Disney MGM Studios, and the park was actually a working studio. And you can see evidence of that here in the theming of this restaurant. I'm honestly surprised that it's maintained its theming for as long as it has. So my second resolution for Hollywood Studios is that they do not touch this restaurant, but that's especially critical this year because right next door at Star Tours, we're getting new experiences this year. So when you come for your trip here in 2024, you might be getting a whole new experience at Star Tours, but just don't touch this. That's all I ask. But the parks aren't the only updates you need to know for 2024. The resorts have some big news this year too. Therefore, they get some resolutions as well. We're getting a brand new Disney Vacation Club tower here at my favorite resort, the Polynesian. I love that more people will have the opportunity to stay at this amazing resort, but my next resolution is one I'm actually kind of serious about. This is something that I hold near and dear, and that is I would love Disney World to have a resolution to bring back more unique resort theming. Now, this is honestly something that I've changed my mind on. Coronado Springs was the first resort on Disney property to start getting the rooms refreshed and rethemed. And I was one of the first people to stay in that room. I want to say it was back in like 2017. And so literally just walked into Coronado Springs, and I'm going to do a really quick room tour. This is one of the original rooms. There's a ton of renovated rooms happening. I actually spent half of my trip in an old Coronado Springs room and the other half in one of the new refurbished rooms. Just stepped into the newly refurbished room here in Coronado Springs, and it is really nice. I am loving this. But now that I'm seeing the style come across to all the Disney resorts, and I kind of honestly feel like the resorts are losing a bit of their individuality. This room reminds me a lot of the new Coronado rooms that have been renovated. What makes this a Disney resort, you know what I mean? Bring a little bit of that Disney 90s back. The Polynesian isn't the only resort getting a DVC upgrade. That would also be Fort Wilderness, specifically the cabins at Fort Wilderness. The current cabins are getting torn down and replaced with storage containers. Just kidding, but they seriously do kind of look like storage containers. Not super on theme to me, to my previous point. I will 100% be staying here though and have a great time because I love me a Disney resort. But I am excited that more DVC members will be able to stay at these because they will be DVC property for the first time, and therefore you can buy into the property and spend your points there. On February 1st, existing DVC members will be able to buy into the property, with new sales beginning on February 27th. So if you ever want to be DVC and you love the magic of Fort Wilderness, this might be your time. Now, Disney resorts and Disney food are probably my two favorite things about being at Disney World, and that's great news because in 2024 we're getting even more new and interesting food offerings. The work already started with Disney Springs getting 2 new restaurants in December, and now we are finally getting the Cake Bake Shop and Blue Ribbon Corn Dogs over at the boardwalk. Also noteworthy at the boardwalk, the Big River Brew and Grill Works is closed permanently now. However, I'm going to look at the positive here. Now, my resolution is that these 2 restaurants open this year, and I'm feeling pretty confident about that one because they're both scheduled to be open in 2023. They got a little bit delayed, but I have faith that they are going to be opening any month now. So next time you come to Disney World, you might have some new opportunities for some yummy food. And now onto my personal resolutions. That is to bring you the latest from the Disney parks. I feel so blessed that I get to live here, but that wasn't always the case. And I remember how exciting and fun it was to dream about my next Disney trip and plan it out. And that brought me so much joy, and all the Disney YouTubers I would watch and just like wish I could be there. So I want to bring you the latest from the park so that you can escape to your happy place. I'm also making a resolution to post every Sunday this year. I might throw in some other videos here and there, but at least every Sunday so that you can start your week off magically. And most importantly, helping you make magical memories that last well beyond Main Street with things like resort reviews and special events so that your next Disney trip can be your best one yet. That sounds good? Hit subscribe and I'll meet you on Main Street.